so high I'm hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to Full Time Sports Network. Welcome to the Arsenal News Special, which I've called the Loaned Rangers Update. So these are all the Arsenal players that are out on loan. First team and academy players only, not the under 18s. I haven't gone that low. It's very hard to get details about how they're doing. And to be fair, a lot of them aren't even playing like consistently enough. But to say that the loan players that we're going to talk about today isn't exactly the greatest story in the world either. Big up to Ollie. Hope you are well, Ollie. Have a great show. He says, thank you ever so much, Ollie. Appreciate it. Temi loves the intro. Yeah, I love the intro too, mate. And morning to Tony. Hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for everyone that tuned in last night. I know it wasn't everyone's cup of tea. Brandon is known as a negative Arsenal fan. For me, he's just an Arsenal fan. That's all it is. Everyone's an Arsenal fan that supports Arsenal. There should be no divide. There should be no fences. Everyone should be able to talk to each other respectfully. You may have different opinions. That is absolutely fine. But yeah, Brandon, I enjoyed it, to be fair. I would have liked it to last longer. Got a little bit more detail. We might do another one next week early because all the slides are created anyway. We might see if there's anyone from the Armoury that can join me just to go through the finer details of the stats. If not, then when we do the next one, which will probably be probably February time, and I think there's another international break around that time. February, March time, something like that. We'll do another. That'll be like the one just before that leads into the end of the season. So it'll be after the transfer window as well. So it'll obviously be a chat about the transfer window as well. Brandon spends too much time with League Gunner. Look, I do get it, but he wasn't that wrong with what he was saying about certain players. You know, the ratings for me were respectful. I know that Havertz got a low score. I don't agree with the Havertz score myself, but he did. Who else did he give low scores to? I'm trying to work it out now. I did keep a list here. Eddie got a 4. I think that's about right. Ramsdale, 4. There was some low scoring. Arteta got a 6. The season, it's kind of right. Havertz isn't for everybody. We know this. He's like Marmite. And yeah, exactly, Tony. Brandon was nearly spot on. And he was. For me, he was nearly spot on with pretty much everything he said. There was nothing wrong. He didn't say anything that was horrendous or, that's how it can be done. yeah, I don't agree with being Arsenal positive, Arsenal negative. We're all Arsenal fans. That is all that matters to me. We all support the club. We all want the best for the club. That's all that should matter. So yeah, let's get on to talking about this. And to be fair, this is not going to be great for people. I'll be honest. We're going to try and do this as quick as we possibly can. These are our first teamers that are out on loan. And yes, Arthur Okonkwo is a first teamer. Right, so these stats only include up to Tuesday night's games. I did these with my data team on Tuesday. So if any of these played on Tuesday or Wednesday, then the stats are not included. So this is up to date up to Tuesday. Right, let's start with runner Alex Runnison. What do we say? The quicker he leaves the club on a permanent or just gets booted out, the better for me. So he's currently on loan at Cardiff. I only played 3 games of Cardiff. That kind of tells you a story there. His passing actually is 72%. As we discussed, it needs to be better. It needs to rate around the 80% mark for the way that we play. Saves per game is 48%. It's not good enough. Goals per prevented is 0.55. So that's a positive that he doesn't give any goals away, but his saves are not the greatest. Because we could just look at Arthur. Now, Arthur's passing is atrocious, but he is young. That takes time. Goalkeepers are not well known for being skillful, which is why they're in goal. But you can educate them. You can get them more comfortable with their feet. It's a trait that you can learn. So I'm not too worried that it's only 56%. And to be fair, Wrexham do not play in the style that we play at all. They are League Two. They are more get the ball to Ollie Palmer to Paul Mullin. Hopefully you score. That is pretty much Wrexham style. And to be fair, I love watching Wrexham play. So, it's absolutely fantastic. Saves per game is 67%, which again isn't bad. It's not great, but it's not bad. Goals prevented, 0, which is exactly what we want to be seeing. I'll be honest to admit, I get negatives towards our club. Look, Tony, I do. I work with them. I work with them. I say whatever I want. I'm not a journalist. They can't take any powers away from me. I will say what I want to say about my club when I speak to them. And they're absolutely fine with that. And you can be negative towards your club when it is appropriate. But just don't be positive just to be popular. Don't be negative just to be popular. Say how you actually feel about your club. If right now Arsenal are not performing brilliantly, yes, we beat Man City, but I did not forget that Tuesday game against RC Lon. Pretty much full strength, and they were awful. Yes, RC Lon were absolutely brilliant that night, but we were awful. So yeah, I don't forget. I'm an elephant. Runnison is lucky to be playing any football. Yeah, this is look. I speak to Anarchy quite consistently. Probably twice a week. I speak to Anarchy, and Runnison will never be forgotten by me, and he will never not hear his name being mentioned by me. He's awful. I still don't know what Anarchy saw in him. Because he's just awful. I'm sorry. Runnison could be the worst ever goalkeeper in Arsenal's history, and I've seen Almunia. Yeah. I've seen some awful ones too, Tommy. Honestly, I think he pretty much is the worst goalkeeper I think we've ever signed. We've had some bad goalkeepers come up the ranks. But yeah, I think the worst player we've ever signed in goal is probably him. And I've seen Richard Wright. So with the third goalkeeper we've got, they've still put out on loan. That says everything. Yeah. I think, to be honest, I think Arthur is our third goalkeeper. Cole Hine currently is at the moment at the club, and he's fighting his spot with Hilson. So I think we're hoping that Arthur has a career and a future at Arsenal. He's a very tall goalkeeper, which, to be fair, is actually quite a bonus to have that height in him. And his brother is also out on loan, which I'm not going to mention because he's under 18s. But yeah, I hope Arthur does well. To be honest, Wrexham move is a great move for him. I think that's the perfect club for him right now. He obviously took Ben Foster's jersey as well. So yeah, it's the abuse towards certain players I won't put up with, and Havertz gets abused from podcasts. You don't do that. Yeah, I'm not going to look. I like the guy. I like the player. Currently, it's just not working out. I would love for it to work out. I would love for him to have amazing performances, game in, game out. It's not working. That's not his fault. I don't think that we should have signed him. I just don't think we should have signed him. He's not the player that I think we wanted or needed. It was more of a case of Arteta wanted him. And we've managed to try and fit him into our system. I honestly do think that if he was to sign for Bayern Munich, possibly Dortmund, I think his numbers would be crazy. Like, he would be smashing in goals, smashing in assists. He'd play on the right where his strongest position is. And I think he'd absolutely brilliant. He's not a bad gut player, and that is where people seem to get it wrong. Everyone just calls him rubbish, calls him certain words and stuff like that. He's not. He's not rubbish. No one was laughing when Chelsea signed for him. They might have laughed a little bit about the fee. But everyone knew how talented he was in Germany. He's still part of the German setup. You know, that kind of says everything. It's just not working out for him. And I feel sorry for him because he doesn't deserve all the abuse. There's no need to abuse any player whatsoever. You can be critical, but there's no need to abuse. Abuse is personal. Be critical. You can say, oh, he needs to improve in this area or in that area. That is how you should be doing it. Not, oh, he's this, he's that, oh, blah, 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 blah. No, support them. Support the players. Morning, Chris. Hope you were well. I'm staying in Carlisle this week. No travel. Oh, Chris, what a boring week. No, mate, I hope you're doing well. And I hope, to be fair, because the weather here is awful. I hope the weather's not too bad in Carlisle. You're obviously further north than me, but it's really bad here today. But big up to you, mate. All right, let's move on to Kieran Tierney and Nuno Tavares. Okay, so Kieran Tierney has played 5 games for Sociedad. His passing accuracy is 80%, so I just need to go full screen. Total dues 1, which is 3.4. I will do a comparison to defenders. Not wrong pad. So for a defender, total duels 1, you do want to be around the 3 mark. So he's doing extremely well. At Sociedad, ball recovered. Again, you want to be in the 3.5, 4 range. Again, so currently this is going extremely well for Tierney. Not playing loads of games, but he's playing enough. Obviously, it's very early season anyway, so you know the numbers are not going to be great anyway. And he's keeping fit. His pass accuracy is 80%. Could do better, but I think if I remember correctly, that's the better than Zinchenko's. So Kieran Tierney is one big positive. We've still got him technically. He's out on loan at Sociedad, so he's doing well. Let's move on to Nuno. Hasn't played much for Forest. 3 games, 2 of those were from the bench. Passing actually 78%. Total duels 1 is 1, which is 43%. Not great. Balls recovered again 1.7. So Nuno Tavares is doing okay. I stick up for him. Doesn't mean I think we should have signed him. People should be giving Arteta the heat. exactly, Tony. That is the exact point that I keep making. Look, I don't want to keep going on about the same point all the time, but we were about to sign someone else, and then Arteta chose to pull that, and then we moved on to Havertz. I would have preferred the person that we were about to sign. It was so close. We triggered the release clause. We had agreed personal terms, and then we pulled it because we wanted to sign Havertz. So, yeah, madness. Should have kept Tierney. Definitely sell Tavares. Yeah, Tavares, look, I think we tried to sell him. We didn't achieve it. I think this is with an option to buy the Tavares deal, if I remember correctly. About 11 or 12 million quid in it. I don't think it's an obligation. I think it's an option, but I'm hoping we sell him because he's not Arsenal standard. Tierney is a tricky one. I think whilst Arteta is our coach, I don't see him starting. I don't see him having a place, especially when Timber comes back. I personally would have him because he's a left back that actually defends. So that's me. But yeah, so that's those two. Right, let's move on to Lokonga. Lokonga has played 2 games for Luton. He is now out injured with a thigh problem. And Marquinhos. Right, let's move on to Lokonga first. So he's only played 2 games for Luton. Passing accuracy is 87%, which is around, you want to be around the high 80s to the 90s. So decent enough. Key passes, 0.5. Decent. To be fair, that is decent. Let's do some comparisons. So Kimmich is on 3.1. Rodri is on 1.2. So you don't really expect many. You just want to be making some. So in those 2 games that Albert's played, he's at least made 0.5 key passes. So at least he is achieving it. So balls recovered 4. You want to be around the 5. So again, not bad. But I just don't think he's Arsenal standard. So I don't expect to see him with us for very long. Marquinhos, he has played 5 games, 4 off the bench, no goals, no assists. Passing accuracy is 75%. So right, goal conversion is 0%. Chances created is 1, but obviously making 4 substitution appearances. It kind of tells you that Marquinhos is also, for me, not Arsenal standard. It's a shame. It is a shame, but it is what it is. Right, let's move on to our academy players. Now, Hubert did sign for Slough on loan. On the 25th of August, that loan ended because Slough actually signed a goalkeeper on a permanent. So there was no room, or I think it was more financial. Slough couldn't afford to pay Hubert, so they sent Hubert back to Arsenal. But he did make 4 appearances for Slough. His passing actually is 77%, which isn't bad for a goalkeeper. Saves per game 67%. Again, decent. He's definitely a goalkeeper that I would say we need to keep an eye on. I think he's got some talent. But I just don't know how far he can go. Henry Jeffcott, he is on loan at Derby under 21s. They're playing in the Premier League 2 division. He has made 5 appearances for him. His passing accuracy is 65. Total duels won is 1.5, 48%. He does need to improve on that. It's not a great number. So yeah, he look, he's only young, so I'm going to give him time, but I just don't see where he stands in Arsenal career. I just don't see it personally. That's just my opinion. Lokonga is, I should be playing player without putting the effort in. Marquinhos is for profit. Yeah, I can see Marquinhos is going to be for a profit. It's a shame. It's a shame, but it's not a shame because if Arsenal make a decent profit on him, like we've only paid 3 million for him. If we were to sell him for 15, that's a good profit. If we were to keep doing that, then I'm happy. I'm quite happy to go out and pay £2 or £3 million for a Brazilian or someone from Africa or someone from Asia, and then we go and sell them for 15 to 20 million. I have no issues with that. That is how you make a football club run in a positive way. So I would have no issues with that at all. Right, let's move on to Brooke Norton-Cuffy out on loan at Millwall, and Alex Kirk, who is out on loan at Bromley. Quickly cover Alex. He's on a loan at Bromley. Andy Woodman is the man looking after him, ex-Arsenal coach. No appearances. Bromley are doing well in National League, and maybe Adam just doesn't want to tinker too much. He's got two of our players on loan at the moment. Kiddo Taylor Hart is the other. He's not going to be mentioned because, I don't know if I can't remember if I did a slide. I don't think I did. But yeah, neither of them are playing. Brooke Norton-Cuffy on loan at Millwall. He's doing okay. The stats say he's doing all right. And, it's hard to disagree with the stats. However, when I spoke to the people that I speak to regarding Brooke, he loses his head a little bit. He loses his positional play. He kind of gets caught out a little bit as well. He definitely needs to improve. Now, he had a great season at Coventry. Absolutely fantastic at Coventry last season. I expected him to go on, but if anything, he's plateaued. And that kind of worries me a little bit. I don't know whether or not it is the issue where we've got Rosiak and we've got Raw Waters that are pushing further at Arsenal. I don't know. Maybe Brooke is in this little headspace at the moment where I don't see where my career is going. Maybe it could be that. Look, players are very sensitive. I know this. So maybe it could be that. But yeah, not sure what's going to happen with Brooke, if I'm honest. Right, let's have a quick look here. There's a few here that I've missed. I do apologise. Slow Conga didn't live up to the hype. Sadly, next Yaya Toure, they called him. Yeah, I'm going to blame Thierry Henry on this one. That was all him. Loaning Patino to a club like Brentford could have been nice as they play front foot football, and he will get a taste of Premier League football. We will definitely get to be talking about Patino. But yeah, I think his next stage should be a Premier League club to play consistently. I'm puzzled, Bobby. If the loan players have no future at the club, then neither end contracts or make sure they go to better clubs. Not playing doesn't help their price. Yeah, Ben, who deals with our loans at Arsenal, for me, needs to improve a little bit. I don't think we've chosen the right options for certain players, if I'm honest. I think Brooke would have done well at a Burnley, at a Luton. I think Millwall is actually a step down from Coventry. No offence to Millwall or Coventry. But it is a step down. So, yeah, I just don't think the best choices have been made for every player. Kieran Tierney, for me, is the best loan that we've got out there at the moment. We will get on to Charlie Patino, who's doing well as well. But yeah, it's a tricky one with our players at the moment. The sun is out, but it's cold, so winter is coming. It is. The Lone Rage. Yeah, I had to, mate. I had to. It had to be done. The Lone Rangers. I've even got a Lone Ranger in the fun now, mate. I just had to. Do you think some youngsters get big-headed because they're at Arsenal? Yes, they do. Balogun is one prime example of that. He's a nightmare. He's doing okay at Monaco at the moment, but yeah, the thing is, they look at Saka, they look at Smith Rowe, they look at the Eddie as well. They see the success that's been had through our Howland Academy. Now, I believe that we've got 4 or 5 in our Howland right now that are still at our club, thankfully, that I think could hit big. Now, what we need to decide with those is be very sensible what we do with their career path. Now, a couple I would send out on loan, but a couple I would actually just slowly introduce them into our first team. Slowly give them some minutes off the bench, make them feel loved. I think some of them really need to be nurtured. When you send them out on loan all the time, it's not the greatest confidence booster. So yeah, I feel like we need to be careful what we do with like Lewis Kelly, Nwaneri, Kozia Dubry, Rosiak, Waters, just to name a few. But there's a lot that I feel we've got a good future with. Tierney has gone to a good club in Sociedad who are well coached, have good players and play in the Champions League. Yeah. Tierney's got landed on his feet. He's getting some sun as well. Lucky man. Not that he probably enjoys it because, he's Scottish. Why would they get better? It's not like they're a big club like Liverpool. I can't understand the one there. He put him in the squad. I expect to see him at least twice this season. If we don't, then we're making a big, big error. Look, we promised him a lot. Chelsea offered him ridiculous amounts of money. If it wasn't down to Per and Jack, he would have been gone. Would have gone to Chelsea, would have gone to Man City. We need to really make sure that we don't lose him because he is extremely talented. It's like quite sickening how good he is. Same as Kozia. Rosiak is definitely one to watch out for as well. Lewis Kelly. There's just some really, really good talent and the exciting talent. And not just like, oh, he's a good defender. All right. These ones like excite you when you see him play. Like the Kozia Dubry, he is hopefully going to be my new dirty winger, where you just don't know what he's going to do when he's got it, when he's on the ball, and that excites me. That's the type of player that excites me. Saliba excites me as a centre back because when he makes an error, he quickly rectifies it. That excites me because as a defender, I know that sometimes you make a mistake, but you need to not let your head drop and quickly sort out your own issue. I think Tierney is your best left back at the club, but he don't sit exactly, Chris. Yeah, he is our best left back, but he doesn't sit the system. Whilst Arteta's at the club, there's no way he's playing. Ethan is the future, but wouldn't he be have better served by playing regular Championship club like Leicester? As at this age, the growth spurt occurs as he fills out. He's actually good enough for me, Bart, to actually play. And I say that because Nelson's getting a chance. Now, for me, at the moment, Ethan looks better than Nelson. So if we're looking at like talent, I would drop Nelson and put Nwaneri on the bench and give him the minutes that he's given Nelson. I'm not saying start Ethan, but if Nelson's on the bench, I would drop him and put Ethan on it instead, and sell Nelson. He is that good, honestly. But I don't know how much you've seen of Ethan. He is so good, so exciting to just watch him play. It's just it makes you feel sick how good he is already. Whether or not he'll make it is another thing because we've had players that have amazing time in the academy and then go jump like that. So yeah, we just need to nurture him really, really well. Hutchinson has done well. Yeah, he's now at Ipswich. To be fair, and this is hard for me to say, Ipswich are doing well. Everyone knows how much hatred I have for Ipswich Town. But Ipswich are doing well. I don't know how much he's actually played at Ipswich. To be fair, I might have to quickly look up. So just bear with me for a minute, because obviously Murray Hutchinson is not an Arsenal player anymore. But I do want to see how he's actually performing. If he is, oh no, to be fair, he's made 10 appearances, 2 starts, but and yeah, he is actually appearing for him. So he's got 1 assist and he's got 1 goal. So to be fair, at Ipswich right now, he's doing well. Saliba's mental strength is incredible. Having played for Marseille when they go crazy, if you make an error, he could well be one of France's starting centre backs come the Euros if you do well in the Champions League. I don't know if it matters if we do well in the Champions League. I think it matters if he does well. So yeah, I kind of expect him to start at the Euros for France. Yeah, that's next year, isn't it? So yeah, I kind of expect him to be a big part of the French lineup now. But yeah, so yeah, that's those 2 plays covered. I do apologise. He should have stayed and gone on loan to Ipswich. Greedy, yes. There is a lot of greed, and it is not just the player, but it's also the agent. The agent is annoying, if I'm honest. I saw Hutchinson versus Wolves in the Carabao Cup, and he created a goal while they were 2-0 down versus a Premier League club. Mari Hutchinson was someone that every Arsenal fan knew about. It was just a sad time when we knew that he was leaving. Look, I'm not speaking for every football fan. I'm speaking on behalf of Arsenal football fans. We are very proud of our academy. Our academy has always been part of Arsenal Football Club. We've always brought up players through the ranks, and that makes us a proud club. So we do take them under our wings, and we love them. And so when someone leaves, it is quite sad. And look, I have no ill feeling towards Amari. He chose what he wanted to choose. However, I just think that he chose wrongly. It's a shame. But yeah, I hope he does well in his career. I just hope he never scores against Arsenal. That's probably the best way I could put it. Right, let's move on to the next 2 players. This is Omar Rekik and Mauro Bandela. Right, we'll start with Omar. He has played 5 games for Wigan this season. Passing accuracy is 79%. Duels 1 4. Now, bear in mind, I should have stated this. This is total duels 1 per game. This is not just over the whole season. This is per game, so it's average. 57% for Rekik, and balls recovered is 2.8. Decent numbers, nothing special. Performance-wise, something's not right again. Look, we signed him, didn't we, from a German team? I can't remember what German team it was now. But yeah, it's not looking good. I'll be honest. I don't think he's got a career at Arsenal. Mauro Bandera, again, I don't think he's got a career at Arsenal. However, he is playing for my Colchester. It's where I was born. It's where I was based for the army as well. So 10 games, 6 off the bench. Passing actually is 69%. Chances created is a 1. Balls recovered is 4.7. Balls recovered, very good to be fair for a DM. Chances created for a DM once again, not bad. And the 6.38, to be fair, is going to be low because he's made most of his appearances off the bench, and some of those just minutes. So you're going to get a low score. So I'm going to allow that. And what I've heard from the coaching staff at Colchester is he's doing well. He's a very sensible lad. So yeah, we've got to wait and see what happens with him. We do seem to loan our players out to struggling teams. How can that improve them? For me, I think they send them to clubs like that so they're likely to play more. But I don't think that works. That's me. Omar has gone to a very, very struggling Wigan. Bandera's gone to a Colchester, and to be fair, I can say this about Colchester: they're not the greatest club in the world. So yeah, I personally wouldn't do it. I would send him into a club that have got confidence, loving football, because when your heads drop, the more mature player, like the 28, the 29-year-old that should be helping these youngsters, are all in a mood. They're all down because their club is not performing well, so they're not really helping our youngsters. Yeah, so look, Mandera's playing enough, and I've only heard positive things about him. Omar, I just don't see it working. I just don't. It's a shame, but it is what it is. Catalin Kurjan, he is obviously Rapid Bucharest. This will be a permanent signing at the end of the season, but he is out on loan, so he's part of our loan Rangers. He's doing okay. He's played 4 from the bench, got 1 assist, passing accuracy 77%, chances created 0, 1.8 balls recovered. He's doing okay. That's the best I can say about him. And to be fair, Catalin will not be part of Arsenal Football Club next season. He'll be signing for Rapid Bucharest on a permanent, as far as I've heard. Salah Ullah Mahand, he is on loan at Den Bosch in Eredivisie. 1 game from the bench. He's not getting the games. So look, he might be getting some experience by training with them and stuff like that, but he could do that here. And this is what annoys me. If you're going to send our players out on loan, get them playing. If not, just keep them and play them in. Send them out on loan to an under-21 PS2 team or something like that. Do something else. But yeah, you're better sending them to a lower league that aren't struggling. Yeah, I would. This is what I was kind of excited about Kiddo Taylor Hart and Alex Kirk going to Bromley. Now, Mr. Woodman has great connections with Arsenal, obviously being an ex-Arsenal coach. But they're not playing there. And I'm like, I was kind of excited because I remember when they signed, I did a watch long for the Bromley game against Maidenhead. And I was hoping to see him. And yeah, I'm not. And it's kind of a shame. If my players are out on loan, I want them to be playing all the time. At least he's got a good first name. He has, yeah. His younger brother is also with us as well. Sorry, Bobby, we sent to see players out and don't worry about where or if they play. Ben does worry about. Now, he's actually called the loan manager. So this is all he does. He deals with the loanees, so deals with where they go, manages them. So like if they need communication, he's the first person they speak to at Arsenal. I do feel we do. I just feel we need to improve. And I feel Ben just needs to send them out better places. I remember we sent out, is it Miguel Assis last season to, was it UD Ibiza? Like, what on earth are you sending a teenager to a club that is a party town? Like, seriously? I tell you, compare this to what I did in the military, right? I had a few privates and a few corporals that were a nightmare sometimes, and I also had people that needed, some relaxation. There are certain barracks in the world that you send them to because they need that entertainment, or they need to just kind of just let their hair down a little bit. So you send them to those places. If I had a fantastic troop where I want them all to concentrate and learn to improve their targeting or something like that, the last place I'd send them is Cyprus or Germany. Those are the 2 barracks in the British military where they are just party towns. They're party barracks, and Yeah. So you just don't send a teenager to Ibiza. That's absolutely ridiculous. All of the players we loan out, how many are playing regularly? Let's have a quick. I'll quickly look at that at the end, Tony. So just quickly so I can flick through them, but don't think it's many. If I'm honest, I think the main one is the one we're going to talk about now, which is Charlie Patino. Then it was Kieran Tierney. He's playing fairly regular. You know, it is Champions League team, so they are going to rotate sometimes. But yeah, it's not many. It's not. And that's the bit that annoys me as well, Tony, because if I'm going to send out these players, I'm sending them out. Tony, yes, I know exactly which one you're all about. It's a very interesting barracks in Colchester. Very interesting. It's actually a garrison in Colchester. So yeah, yeah. Without going into too much detail, exactly what my role was in the military. Yeah, I spent a good amount of time there. Right. Anyway, let's move on to Charlie Patino. Look, he's at Swansea, and to be fair, he's doing all right. And I'm from what last season when he was at Blackpool, I was hearing a bit of negativity about his personality. That has not happened this year. So he's at least calmed that down. His passing actually is 82%, which is fantastic. Chances created is 2, which is fantastic. Balls recovered is 3.6. Fantastic. So far, everything here is going well. Now, obviously, it says 6.5 when it comes to rating. I won't worry too much about that, mainly because Swansea aren't performing very well. They're very hit and miss. But yeah, 1 goal, 3 assists. Can't ask for much more for a midfielder. Now, this is the only person that I'm a little bit confident that's out on loan at the moment that I feel has a future at Arsenal. And I possibly think maybe even next season. Next season could be a Premier League loan or he'll be part of our squad. It depends what happens in January. Depends what happens in next summer with who goes out. But Charlie Patino, there is a slight chance that we will see him in Arsenal shirt in the next 2 seasons. Nathan Butler Oedeji. He's at the club that can't score. Cheltenham. Yeah, look, Cheltenham are having a nightmare. Nathan isn't a big part of that problem due to the fact he's only played 5 games, 4 from the subs bench. Passing accuracy is 64%. Chances created is 1. He has 0 future at Arsenal. It's as simple as that. There's no nice way of putting it. Nathan has no future at Arsenal. He will likely be sold or just let go. Yeah, we'll wait and see, but he has no future at Arsenal. Mika Birev. Oh, this sucks. Right. Okay, let's go to the positive. Tyrese John Jules. He is on loan at Derby. Yes, Derby. Is it Derby? Yeah, Derby. Passing actually 70%. He's only made 2 appearances from the subs bench. That's it. He has 0 future at Arsenal. Mika Birev. Oh, I hate talking about this one. Right. So he signed for Motherwell. I thought, yeah, fantastic signing. Brilliant. Brilliant place to go. Scotland. Lovely. Obviously didn't start his first few games. Came off of the bench. Fantastic. Look at that for a performance. 8.5 off the bench. 1 goal, 1 assist. 50% at passing. His goal conversion is 100%. Chances created 1. Absolutely fantastic. Then he gets a serious knee injury. He's now out for 3 months. Hopefully, I'll see him again before January. But this is the one guy that I'm excited by. And yeah, I just think he just excites me as a forward. Low manager, not that good then, Bobby. Ben's doing his best. To be fair, I know a lot of the loan managers that work at all the clubs. They don't get them right. And I'd say they don't get them right about 90% of the time. It is so hard to get it right. When you speak to the club that is interested in loaning the player, you are promised a lot, and that doesn't always work out. So yeah, it's I'd say it's 60% Ben's fault, 40% the club that is requesting the player's fault. So yeah, I think we've done as best we can, if I'm honest. I was there as a driver, Bobby, many years ago, and actually helped someone escape. Tony, accidentally, I love it. Bettino needs to be patient. Yeah, I think he will be. There was a very long chat with Arteta in the summer, which is why he did not get sold. He wanted to be sold. Arsenal were not willing for him to be sold. In the end, there was a compromise. Okay, we're going to loan you out, and then we'll see next season. That is where I think will be the make or break for Charlie. We're either going to be boosting his value, or we're going to actually give him a chance. I would have kept Bereth and picked him over Nketiah. Mate, so would I. This is not me hating on Nketiah or me having an agenda. He's not the type of player that excites me. Simple as that. He's just not. Right, let's move on to the final player, and it is bless me, Billy Vigar. He is at Eastbourne. This was extremely hard to get any information on now. For Eastbourne, they are in the National League South. So they're not in the National League, as in the one that it's just below League Two. They are on the next one down. And to get information and data from these teams is extremely hard. So hard that we actually had to watch the games that he appeared in to actually get the data, because they don't do the data like they do in the higher leagues. It was a nightmare. But thank you very much for Eastbourne. You did help me, and we managed to get there in the end. Right, so 11 games he's played, 2 from the bench. He's made scored 1 goal, 65% passing accuracy, goal conversion of 8%, and chances created 1. Unless he goes to a bigger club in the next season, I just don't see how he's got a career. And look, this is no disrespect to Eastbourne at all, but if you're going that low, you're obviously not got that much talent, because there should be clubs higher. Now, this Billy was at, I might be getting this wrong, but I'm pretty sure he went to Derby under-21s last season. Made 0 appearances, pretty as far as I know. At least it's nice at Eastbourne. Yeah, I'm sure Billy's having a lovely time there. Eastbourne is a lovely place, but yeah, it's I just, at the moment, I just can't see how he has a future at Arsenal, if I'm honest. But we'll wait and see, guys. That's it, Don. Thank you ever so much. This was meant to be a quick stream. It's ended up being 50 minutes. But thank you ever so much. I will be back on Sunday for Arsenal versus Aston Villa, WSL game for a watch along. Then I will be back next Friday for definite for the Chelsea preview. Then obviously Chelsea game on Saturday, and then I'm pretty sure I keep thinking I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we're playing Bristol City in the WSL on Sunday. So I will be doing both watch-alongs that weekend. So it's a full Arsenal weekend when it comes to watch-alongs. But yeah, I might be back earlier next week, depending if I can find anyone else to come on to talk about the early season preview. A lot of people just don't want to do it because it's so early in the season. So yeah, I get it. Of all the loan players you've mentioned, only 3 have a future at Arsenal: Bettino, Bereth, and Kofi. Yeah, pretty much. That's how I see it right now. Arthur, maybe. Arthur's a big maybe. Yeah, it's a big maybe, Arthur. But we'll wait and see. His brother's doing well as well. Thank you ever so much, Tony. Thank you for always being here as well, mate. Really appreciate it. Guys, I'm out of here. Take care. Have a great weekend. Try and keep warm as well, because it's horrible out there. Bye-bye.
you.